Welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry I haven't posted any videos in a while. I wasn't sure what type of videos to make and I just felt really burnt out. I'm still not sure what direction I want my channel to go, so for now I'm just gonna make videos and see what happens. I have a lot of ideas, but unfortunately I don't have that much energy. Anyway, let's get into the video. Today's video is all about Far Cry 5. I'm moving away from playing games loads of times and will probably stick to 2 because I need to platinum the game once to know if it's worth making a video on. Originally, I had no plans to make a video on Far Cry 5 because I really didn't like it when I played it in 2018. I went back to it in 2024 as well and I still didn't like it. But everything changed after peer pressuring a friend to play it this year. I went back to help it with the multiplayer and decided to play it on my second account to get the trophies for the second time. Which was a horrible idea, but I'll get to that later. I started the story from the beginning and for some reason it was different. I was actually having fun this time and some would even call it addicted. After I finished the story, I went back to my main account to finish the story there too. And as of today, I have the platinum for Far Cry 5 twice. I know I say this in every Far Cry video, but I will say it again in this one. I'm a fan of the Far Cry series, and I consider myself biased when it comes to Far Cry games. I will say that the part I hated about this one originally was getting kidnapped every 5 minutes. I remember when I played in 2018, I was horrendous at shooters, so I couldn't actually get past the kidnap parts because of a massive skill issue. The more I played Far Cry and other games, the better I got, so when I went back to the game, I was like, no flippin' way was I ever this bad to get stuck here. But unfortunately, it was true, I was that bad. I was debating how much of the story to go into in this video because the game is pretty old now, and if you haven't played it yet then maybe do that and come back to the video after you've had the Far Cry 5 experience. I'll give you 5 seconds before I start the spoilers. I hope that was 5 seconds because I can't count. So, there's nothing that special about the story. You're a police officer, you're trying to stop a cult, the end. There is slightly more to it than that, but not much. Basically, your friends get kidnapped, you have to rescue them. The cult leader has 3 siblings, you have to defeat them, and then you fight the cult leader, he doesn't die, you get nuked. And that pretty much is the end. You do get companions in this Far Cry game, so it is slightly different to Far Cry 3 and 4. Plus, you can do all the main missions with a co-op partner, which is different from Far Cry 4 because you couldn't do any of the story missions with a co-op partner. Every companion in this game you do have to unlock, so there's a mission you need to complete to unlock each companion. I do like this setting because it's different from what we've seen before, and obviously the gameplay is very fun. Flying airplanes wasn't easy to master because I just don't get along with the controls at all. Long story short, the story is kinda meh, but it's Far Cry, so it's fun anyway. There's not really much else to say about the story, so I'm gonna talk about the Platinum Trophy list. There are a lot of trophies connected to the story, so just playing through the game will get you those. If you are wanting to get the Platinum for this game, you should definitely get the online out of the way first. When I tell you it's a horrible experience, I'm not joking. There are 5 trophies for the arcade, which is the online portion of this game. You might get lucky and find people playing some of the death matches, but chances are you're unlucky and you will find nothing but an empty lobby. If you manage to convince someone to play with you, you'll have to do a lot of tedious, boring stuff. One trophy is to win 10 featured maps, which isn't as easy as it sounds because the featured maps are mostly long and mostly ass. Another one is for playing 10 featured maps, which is easy enough. You just have to play them, you don't have to win them. You also need to play Arcade Hero 5 times. I can't even remember what this one was, so it must have been boring. The last 2 online ones are for reaching level 20 in arcade mode and getting 100 enemy kills. When they say enemies, they mean other players. Luckily, there is a shovel-throwing map where it's easy to farm those. Once you've punished yourself with the arcade mode, you can move on to the story, unless you're crazy and left the arcade until the end. Anyway, the story trophies are all straightforward. They did add some really annoying trophies, and I'm going to complain about them now. Death from Above is one of those annoying trophies. You have to destroy or disable 4 vehicles with 1 bomb from a plane. When I saw the description originally, I was like, how on earth am I going to do that? Luckily, this game is old, and there are always videos showing how to get these trophies. A huge thank you to 5's for this one. Not sure I would have been able to do this a legitimate way, because either the controls for the plane are ass, or it's just me. Ace Killer is another plane-related trophy where you have to destroy 10 planes while being in a plane yourself. PowerPix has a video on this too with a strategy I didn't even think of. Not really sure how people can fly and shoot at the same time. I have a hard time just flying, so if you did this one legit, you should join the Air Force or something. Ghost Kill was an unforgiving trophy for me because it took me a while to find a decent place to try and get it. It took me several tries, but eventually my aim was decent enough to hit something and get the trophy. Even though the trophies I've mentioned were horrible, there's one trophy that they put in most Far Cry games, and it's the stupid distraction trophy. This one is called Opportunity Knocks, and you have to distract 15 enemies with rocks or cans. I have no idea how you use cans, so obviously I used rocks. You would think it's as simple as throw a rock and guy gets distracted, but no, it's not. You have to throw a rock next to a cult member that's doing something like reading or sitting. Throw a rock, and they have to get up and walk to the rock, look around, and then walk back to where they were and continue what they were doing, whether it was reading or sitting. Oh, but that's easy, isn't it? No, it's actually not, because most of the time you will throw a rock, they will look, but they won't move, which doesn't count. What they will also do is go and look at the rock, and then go and do something else entirely. So you really do need the patience of a saint to sit and wait for this trophy to pop. Now I've talked about the trophies I didn't like, I'll mention a few that I did like, because some of them are actually pretty fun. Hope County Master Angler was one of my favorites because the fishing in this game is really fun. You have to get all 4 of the available fishing rods, and in order to get the last one you have to beat the records in each region for the size of the fish you caught. This trophy can take a while, but it didn't feel like much of a task because the fishing mechanics were challenging but fun too. The trophies Where's the Beef and Ignoble Beasts are pretty random, where you have to kill a bull with your bare hands and a bison with a melee weapon. If you have a strength boosting syringe, these are really easy, but doing it the old-fashioned way where you punch it 200 times is way more rewarding. Overall, I think some of the trophies in this list are pretty horrible and unnecessary, especially adding an online mode which they know from Far Cry 4 it would inevitably die. Plus, some of the mechanics for the trophies like the stones and planes are kind of terrible. All that being said, I did enjoy the rest of the game, so it's not all bad. I know this will be controversial, but I do think they should have added more collectible trophies. There's a trophy for collecting one of each type, but I feel like they could have added a few more. Yes, I am one of those people that actually does like collectible trophies. I'm also glad that they didn't add a difficulty-related trophy because that usually locks me out of most platinums because I just don't like it when games are super duper difficult. I think that's enough talk about trophies now, so I'm going to give the burger rating for Far Cry 5. Not very easy to give a rating for this one because I really did enjoy it, but the multiplayer and some of the other trophies made it a bit of a slog. I do also want to add that this is a rating of the platinum experience, not just the game itself. So, with all that being said, I'm going to give it a rating of 3.5 burgers. I really did want to give it a 4, but because of the online trophies and the other trophies feeling a little bit broken, I didn't feel like I could justify a 4. I want to say a huge thanks if you watched until the end. I know I haven't posted anything in ages, but I'm hoping that will change. I'm working on a few different things at the moment, so stay tuned for those. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.